What is going on, everybody? If you're watching this video on its release day, Happy New Year to you. It is January 1st. If you're not watching it on January 1st, well, Happy New Year to you too, I guess, but you're a little bit late. Regardless, doesn't matter, you're here now. So in this video, we're going to talk about what may be coming to old school RuneScape in 2023. How do we feel about it? And the general consensus of the community so far, at least from my perspective. Now, not everybody has the same views on what's going to go down for the updates that are coming in 2023, but I got a decent feel from it from my Discord, my clan chat, and just around the game, seeing people talk about stuff. So let's get started. First up, merch store. New items entering the merch store. Got some new stickers going on. 4 new t-shirts featuring the main old school RuneScape gods and some other good stuff. Couple mouse pads, another coffee mug. If you haven't checked it out, link is in the description down below. Check that out. Just a fair warning before we get started, this video is going to be more like a podcast kind of, so not really much graphical content. So throw this on in the background, give it a listen while you're playing some old school, and let me know your thoughts after the video. So I want to start out with probably what will be the most important or biggest update in old school RuneScape in 2023, providing everything goes as planned, and that is a new skill. Now, I've been maxed for like 2 or 3 years. I can't even remember how long it's been now. I need something else to do. I'm all for a new skill in 2023. Old school RuneScape is like 10 years old now, and there's never been a new skill. I really think there needs to be one, and Jagex is finally going about it in a way that actually makes sense. The community is supposed to have a say in pretty much everything that happens in the game of old school RuneScape. And finally, Jagex has put out a method that can really ensure that the player base is going to get what they want. There's going to be several steps to this new skill coming out, which stage 1 has already passed, which is to greenlight the new skill. They're just finding out if us as a player base actually wants a new skill. So that's already been done. So they've got that part out of the way. The next one is stage 2, and this is going to be a community consultation. This is basically going to see what kind of skill do we want? Will it fit into old school RuneScape? Is it going to be best for the game? Is it going to be good for longevity of the game? And then we move on to stage 3, which is going to be skill pitches. Now, this is the important part. In the past, they had warding and sailing that they wanted to bring into old school RuneScape, but they really didn't go about it in a way that let the player base help develop the skill. It was more or less, they're just going to say, hey, this is a new skill. This is what we're going to do with it. And then they kind of blasted us with the question, do you want this? And overwhelmingly, the results were absolutely not. The skills didn't really make sense to a lot of the community. It didn't fit into old school RuneScape very well. So ultimately, they failed. In the next stage, 4, refinement, they're going to start getting into what makes this skill a skill, as you can see on this graphic here. And then they start to get closer and closer so they can start putting out design blogs and let us know exactly what we might be seeing. Stage 5 is going to be locking in the skill, and then they're going to present the refined skill design to us as the players, and then they'll poll us on it and see if it does pass. The final stage is stage 6, and that is going to be beta feedback. So you'll see the skill in the beta worlds at that point, and then they'll improve it based on the feedback they get from us. Now, the important part of this is stage 2, 3, 4, and 5 can kind of go back and forth, and I think that's really good. So if they come up with something that we really don't like, they can go back to the previous stage, redesign, redevelop, and then poll it again based on their findings of what happened when it progressed. So I think it's really a great way to actually introduce a skill to old school RuneScape rather than what they did in the past, which is basically develop a skill, tell us what it's going to be like, and then have us vote on it. Definitely wasn't the way to go about it. Again, I'm all for a new skill. I feel like I need something new to do. I'm saying bring it on. I'd like to know how the rest of you feel. I know a lot of people in my Discord and clan chat are indifferent or on the fence. So as a community as a whole, especially those that watch my videos, I'd really like to know how you guys think about it. So the next thing that's coming in 2023 is going to be a new quest in the Desert Treasure series line, and it's going to be Desert Treasure: The Fallen Empire. Now, if you haven't watched the YouTube video, it's like 2 minutes long. I guess it's kind of like a trailer for the quest. It's actually kind of cool. I would definitely suggest checking that out. I've left a link in the description below if you do want to go watch that. So this is going to continue where Desert Treasure left off like 17 years ago. And I think it's pretty cool that they are going to try to put in these 4 bosses that are encountered in the quest, and they'll all have unique rewards. So I think that's going to bring a lot of depth to PVM, which I feel like we haven't really had in a while. I mean, the last quest boss that jumps out at me that really could be fought again for money is, I guess it's Vorkath, really. I mean, there are some other ones. I guess if you consider Raids 3 a quest boss after you finish that quest, I mean, the bosses weren't really in the quest, you just kind of heard about them. But regardless, having repeatable bosses that actually drop unique rewards, I think that's a great move for the game, especially because there's a few bosses in the game that I actually really enjoyed from quests that are not repeatable for rewards. Other stuff that you'll get from this quest: 5 quest points, a lamp that offers 100,000 prayer XP, and the Ruinous Powers. I think the Ruinous Powers, that's actually pretty cool. The Ruinous Powers, if you haven't checked it out, is actually a new prayer book. If the question passes, they said that there's going to be a poll later to determine the new prayers that are included in the book. I think it would be cool to have another prayer book in the game, but I don't want to see a repeat of the second prayer book in RS3, which has like Soul Split in it and stuff like that. I don't really think that has a place in old school RuneScape. That's just my opinion. Maybe some others out there feel different, especially probably the PvP community, depending on what they want to see. I'm really curious to see where this one goes. That one, the Desert Treasure 2 quest, has really piqued my interest. So definitely curious to see how that turns out. So the next piece of content that will be coming in 2023 is going to be Secrets of the North. Or rather, this is probably going to be coming sooner because in order to do Desert Treasure 2, you're going to have to complete Secrets of the North first. It is going to be a quest requirement for Desert Treasure 2. The best part about this one for me is going to be the access to a repeatable solo-only boss. I like this because if it's a solo-only boss, it really helps, I guess you could say, temper the amount of items that are coming into the game. Obviously, with teams and team bosses, once people get really good at it in certain teams, they can just cruise through it. I mean, there are so many teams out there that are just incredibly good at the Theater of Blood and the Tombs of Amasket, and their completion times are just obscenely low. And I think this solo aspect of it really helps when it comes to the economy and controlling how many items come into the game. Think about like the Alchemical Hydra, think about Cerberus, stuff like that. Some of the stuff for those have really held a good value, considering the Primordial Crystal is still very expensive, even though Cerberus is as old as it is. That's the way I'm looking at this solo boss. Along with that, you'll also be rewarded with 2 quest points, 60,000 Agility XP, 50,000 Thieving XP, and 40,000 Hunter XP. As for drops, from that solo-only boss, you're looking at the Ancient Essence, Venator Shards and a Bow, Ancient Icon and Scepter, and the Forgotten Brew. And additionally, that poll a while back about the Saturated Heart, that is also going to be a drop that you will get to improve the Imbued Heart, which I believe it's supposed to make it kind of like an Overload or a Divine Potion where your stats don't drain until the timer runs out. So I'm actually really excited about both of these quests, not because of the quests. I personally hate quests, and I'm a spacebar warrior when it comes to quests, so I'm spacebarring through all the dialogue just so I can get to the end, so I can get to those bosses. That is what I'm looking forward to the most. The next one is Bounty Hunter, and this one is actually pretty important. RuneScape's PvP system, or rather old school RuneScapes, and I guess you could say RuneScape 2s from back in the day before EOC, was pretty iconic. It was different, it was fast paced, and there was a lot of different things that you could do in the PvP system. Now, PvP nowadays is really just, it's dead in comparison to how it used to be, especially when old school started, and especially back pre-EOC RuneScape. PvP was a huge aspect of the game, but now, honestly, the population of people that still PvP, or rather die-hard PvPers, is really like, it's probably like less than 10% of the players that play old school RuneScape. And that's just because PvP has died out because there really hasn't been any updates to the PvP system or the bounty hunter system. They've done different things throughout the years, and it all just seems like it fails. And it really seems to me that Jagex focuses way more on PVM content and other stuff that doesn't really need fixing or updating, because there are more broken things, more dead content in the game. But they keep adding different PVM stuff, which honestly, it makes me happy as a PVMer, but at the same time, I can see it the other way around, as from people who like to PK a lot. I have friends that are diehard PKers, and they still do to this day, but it's just not the same as it used to be. So with the Bounty Hunter update, they're talking about introducing Bounty Hunter craters again, which if you'll remember from back in 2007 with the removal of the wilderness, the Bounty Hunter crater, it was interesting to say the least. I'm not going to get into detail about that, but they are talking about bringing that back, where you'll be able to enter in different combat zones based on your levels, and you'll be able to take different risks. So overall, I do think it is going to be a good improvement for the PvP side of old school RuneScape. I'm looking forward to see where this goes. Now, there is a couple of other things that they're talking about bringing into 2023, which I don't really think are that important to be talking about in this video. One, because I don't really think they're needed, and two, because they just seem like the easy way out. First is going to be Forestry, the way of the forester. I'm only going to say a couple things about this. Basically, it's going to expand woodcutting to pretty much all over the map. There's going to be different things that happen when you're cutting trees, different I guess activities that you can do to get a couple of more items, and it's supposed to have like its own currency or something like that. I don't really think this is necessary. They want to take away the monotony of woodcutting. I guess that's an okay reason to do it, but I feel like woodcutting is just one of those boring long skills in old school RuneScape. I don't think it should be changed. That's just because it's been like that forever, and there hasn't really been a problem with it. I would honestly just leave it the way it is and focus on something that's going to be more important. The other thing is those official account builds. I guess they're trying to do this in a way where they're going to restrict accounts from doing something. So if you pick like, all right, I'm going to do a 1 defense pure and I'm going to pick this account mode, you can never get defense experience on that account. It won't let you, to say the least. And I think that takes a little bit of the risk and reward out of actually doing a 1 defense account build. You always have to be you always have to keep an eye out. You have to know exactly what you're doing. You can't put it in the wrong combat mode to get defense experience. I think it's a risk that needs to be taken, especially because some of these builds out there, like I've seen 10 HP 99 Slayer builds, all of the ways that you can do these. I really think it's a risk to be taken. And once you achieve what you're looking for, it really solidifies that risk and turns it into a huge reward. I don't really think that this belongs in old school RuneScape, just because of the fact of the dedication and the hard work that people put into their current accounts that are this way, not making any mistakes along the way. Now it just makes it like so easy, and just like it's totally easy mode. It doesn't really make sense to me to put this into the game and just wreck all those other people's progress. Obviously, they said that you can opt into this game mode if you want to. If you haven't gotten any experience based on whatever they're offering in this game mode, but I still don't think that it's a good place or a good thing to do it in old school RuneScape. So I think that's really all I have to say about the proposed updates for 2023. I guess the point of this video really was to just talk about what is coming, what's going to be pulled. Basically, for you guys out there that don't read the news posts, I know for me, it's actually a lot easier for me to watch and listen to videos about updates of the game rather than going through and reading all the news posts myself. So I hope that this video could help you guys out there that don't want to filter through all the stuff and read these updates like I just had to for this video. That was my main reason for doing this. The other reason was I wanted to know what the community really thinks about it. A lot of people watch my videos, so I figured it would be a good place to start and get discussions going in the comment section below. Like I've said before, I do like to read the comments, so I'd like to see where you guys take this, what your opinions are, and what you think might happen. So if you have any thoughts or anything you want to say, please leave it down below. I'd love to see it, love to hear from you guys. With that, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. If you haven't, tap that subscribe button on your way out. Link to the merch store is in the description below the video. You can check that out. Bunch of different items that I just added to the store. Again, all of these items are created by hand by me in my office and shipped directly to you. So anytime you guys order something from me, it is awesome. I love seeing new orders. It's a really great feeling to know that you guys put your faith in me to make something that you're going to receive and use. With that, I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.